And you have to touch it a couple of times to turn it on. But
all right, guys, I've got no heat. 2002 Trane gas pack. They say when they go to turn the thermostat on, it starts short cycling as if it's failing at the gas valve or igniter or something. So let's take a look. Okay, looking for any of the obvious burn marks. Looks like a new board at one point. Let's pop this open. Okay, we've got an old 2-stage compound gas valve. So let's go ahead and jump it. Let's see what we got here for heat. They're jumping out first and second stage right there. So no 2-stage stat. Red and white. Red. We should have igniter now. Burners came on. See if the blower kicks on. So far the blower is not on. Okay, there's the relay. Blower's not kicking on. Yeah, blower. Blower's not even on. When I pull the jumpers, I should have blower. I think we've got a bad variable speed. Variable speed blower motor on this old unit. Thing's barely moving. There goes my burners in low stage. We should be running low stage for about 5-10 minutes. Okay, I just got it kicked off. What's the error code? 4. That means blower. That blower is barely moving. So we've got two things here, guys. We've got a bad blower motor. This universal or this ECM motor is barely moving and it's overheating the system. So we've got 4 flash. So 4 flash indicates a high limit is open. So this right here, which we can verify, Beep, beep, beep. So he's gonna need a new inducer and a new motor. He's gonna need a new unit probably, guys. This is when the units start to tell you that they're going out. So we'll go give him the news. All right, Art. So I got you all figured out, but it's not the best news. So we've got the you've got a variable speed blower motor that's barely turning right now.
Okay, Baker.
It's barely turning in the heating mode right now. So what's going on is the burners, everything's coming on up until the flame's going for about 30 seconds.
Fan's not going.
And then the fan's kicking off. So it's basically overheating that unit up there.
Okay. What's the new motor going for?
I'll go over that right now. This is the second part right here. This is the combustion motor right here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that doesn't sound good.
So that's the other motor that exhausts the carbon, all that stuff off that little flue right there. And just as it turning down right here, kind of winding down.
Yep.
It's like bearing on bearing.
Yeah, it's metal on metal. I mean, it's not supposed to be that way. Shocking.
I know. Long story short, man, I mean, yes, we could probably get the price on the motor just because it's a variable speed that only Trane has. I can put a universal in there. But what I would recommend, being that we have that combustion motor, before we get all the repair quotes and everything to rebuild this older unit, is just kind of maybe this is when the unit will start to tell you, hey, all my parts are starting to degrade, all the motors are starting to fail. And it's whether or not you guys want to invest, a bunch of money into this thing, or just look at that other option. It's a free estimate.
Yeah, no, I think for right now, I'll probably put the money in. If it starts to continue, that'll be the sign for me to say.
Yeah, so what I would recommend is let's just put a universal variable speed match to that, because that OEM motor is like $2,000, $2,500 or something like that. But we can possibly get the universal match to go with that, in which I've done before. So I would recommend that, and if the plan is to keep the system around for a couple more years, you might want to invest in that other little combustion motor too.
And how much is that one going for?
That one we'll have to get a price on. So like I said, I could probably couple them both, and you'll save a little on labor just because I'm already up there instead of labor twice.
If the one's going bad too, let's get a price on both, please.
Let's just get them both. I always give you guys a repair replacement option, but
I appreciate it.
I always let you guys know I can repair this unit too, and I can get it up and running for you for sure. So we're a Trane dealer. I know this unit very well. Everything, the board has been replaced already, so everything else looks okay in there. We just got to get the new one.
I mean, it's an old one. I guarantee. Granted, I understand. At some point, you got to call it.
So I'll button everything up, see if I can make a quick call to my parts department and get any information on this, and then by the time I come back down, hopefully I have information. If not, we'll know first thing in the morning, availability and pricing and stuff. Okay. But are you guys on our maintenance plan right now?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you guys get a 15% off discount as well on all the parts.
Okay.
So it might be something you guys just want to take advantage of and get it up and running. I mean, I think we can get a repair van. If like there's a hole in the heat exchanger, or if the compressor dies.
Good, and it's...
Yeah, those are the two things. AC side, if the compressor dies. Heating side, if we get a hole in that heat exchanger, then it's like,
Well, then we got a red tag.
Yeah, our arms are tied at that point. So, all right, let me make a couple quick calls real quick. Art,
No worries, that would make sense.
Yeah, that too. It's got to push that exhaust stuff out. There's a pressure switch that once it does inevitably fail, it won't even start the system because it needs that pressure to run. All right, guys. So it does look like we're gonna go ahead and try to repair this unit. This owner is kind of frugal, and he said, hey, if it just needs a motor, then let's just get it up and running. If it's still staying on the roof, it's not broken. Well, it is broken, but we're going to try to find the universal, because I doubt we're going to be able to find that same motor. If so, it's going to be a month out, and it's going to cost an arm and a leg. We're also going to get him a quote on replacing this motor as well. I told him he can either keep the system around and repair it, or we can get a crane up here and take it off the roof. So, I mean, this guy wanted to repair it. So it is what it is. I'm gonna get him a quote. When I come back, I'm gonna show part 2 of me fixing this old thing. Thanks for watching. We are back at the old Trane XL14 package unit with the bad inducer and blower motor. Parts came in relatively quick. So I'm here the next afternoon to put them in. And those are going to get installed in 3, 2, 1. This new motor we got did not come with the gasket kit. That's unfortunate. So we're going to use our high temp silicone and reuse as much of the old one as possible, but that'll back you up in case you need a gasket type material. We're just using this RTV. Inducer's on. Time to move on to this EZ16. I've probably installed about 16 of these, and they work nice. In a pinch, whenever this motor is 4 times the amount of that motor, or that motor is 4 times as less as that original motor as well. Just a sign of the times. Let's get it, dude. All right, so I just wanted to show you guys my little trick, because I'm gonna have to take off this circular bracket here, and then the whole entire blower wheel and motor will come out as one. In order to know where to put it back, because there's little divots right here, you always want to make sure you put it back right. So I gave myself some little Mayan, I'm just kidding, some little doodles right here to know where it goes. And then I marked little circles where I know I'm not gonna put the bracket. So just something that always helped me when I was first starting out with this particular blower, because obviously we cannot remove this assembly out. So Trane gave us a little way to get around that. And then obviously that's the old inducer motor right there to hold up this case. All right, I'm gonna get it in. It's kind of hard for me to record everything on this steep roof, so I'm just gonna get it in 3, 2, 1. Okay, first you're gonna push the shaft all the way down into the motor there. Once it's all the way down in the motor, you're gonna go ahead and sand this thing down. Once that's all nice and shiny there, you're gonna put the phone down, you're gonna pull it off the freaking hub. Oh yeah, that's nice and tasty. Nice and juicy there. All right, I got the bracket moved over here. We got to do some wiring, obviously, but I'm real curious to see if this is gonna match, because look at how taller this one is. These end bells are just massive. These older end bells, the first gens. I think this is a first gen, isn't it? ECM 3.0, I think it is. There it is right there. It might be a 3.3 or 3.2 or something, I don't know. But anyways, the thing is a massive tank. This thing right here is also all caked up with 20 years of dirt and debris and Northern California fires. You name it, everything in the last 20 years is stuck in this wheel right here. So you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna give them a free cleaning today, guys. Let's go down and get to it. We already got it out. Might as well show value, right? Still looks a little dirty, it's all stained up, but it'll do. Today is the day before Halloween. So depending on when this video gets edited, happy Halloween, everybody. Hope you all enjoy it with your families. Everything looks good in here. You can see the heat exchanger. Good from that end. All right, let me start getting everything put away on this bracket. Got to put that little plate on and then the wheel. Let's get back to work. All right, you guys already know what I was doing. Lining up my little Mayan symbols there. Got everything lined up. Wiring harness should reach, but I've got that little module to plug in. So now let's go ahead and put all these screws back in, get that box mounted, and pray to the HVAC gods. All right, so I've got this little thing mounted on a 1/4 inch self tapper. I'm at a 3/4 horsepower, so this horsepower right here, you're gonna wanna set this little dial at the top here where the triangle's pointing to 3/4 horse. I'm gonna set these to nominal. On the reverse side of that module, you're gonna see PNW, which is pulse width, and then you've got 24 volts, counterclockwise and clockwise. So if I recall, the old motor rotation is counterclockwise. If you're looking at a clock, we're going the other way. So we're gonna go counterclockwise, that's good. And we're gonna go to 24 volts. We're gonna try that first. If it doesn't work, we go to PMW. So we're gonna go to counterclockwise, and then we're gonna try 24 volts. If that doesn't work, we're gonna go to pulse width. So there it is installed. Let me get cleaned up, get these wires cleaned up, and then we'll do some tests. All right, there's your final on the blower motor portion of this repair. Got all the wires cleaned up away from the blower wheel. We're gonna spin that wheel to make sure there's nothing hitting or grinding. All of my screws are in, the ground screws in, output and input are both in. We're gonna start with 24 volts at counterclockwise. So let's see how it goes. Take this damn thing off the unit and pray to the gods of HVAC. And let's get this thing going. Yay! Damn peacock just attacked this lady's dog. That peacock jumped down from the tree on the dog. All right, red to green, you know what I mean. Wish me luck, guys. This is always that moment as a technician where you're like, oh my gosh, I hope everything pays off. Oh yeah, baby. Let's put this panel back on. Let's fire up this heat now. Check the other motor. All right, here we go. Red to white. Do me right. Turn this heat on, baby. Okay, nice smooth sound from that motor there. Going down in the low stage for ignition. Burn, baby, burn. Next up, blower relay, your turn. Right now the flame sensor is sending signal to that valve, millivolts. Or before we had that 4 flash for high limit. There's your blower relays up there. Come on, baby. I think I gotta adjust the speed. It is in low speed though. All right, guys, so I've had it happen before where on these Century Easy 16s, the motor says counterclockwise. We all know how a clock goes, right? Rotation counter. I put it in counter and the motor was barely spinning. As soon as you put it over to clockwise, the motor's running great. So I guess just depends on your application. If you notice when you put these in that it's barely spinning and you've got it on the right rotation, flip it over and you'd be surprised. So this thing is howling now. Juicer's on. We're gonna button everything up. That's gonna be it for today, guys. We are up and running. Older package unit. Owner decided to invest in some repair work with us, so we went ahead and replaced this guy. You can hear these bearings. Barely hear them, but they're grinding. And that ECM motor that was barely turning kind of scared me for a minute because I'm like, whoa, is that little CFM board failing? Is that what took out the old motor? But nope, we're good to go. All right, it is sunset. Sunset out here in Northern California. Look at that beautiful view. You guys have a great night and have a good Halloween. See you on the next one. Oh damn, there's a big boy right there. Must be all this